What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Most Bowen, and this is the moment you've all been waiting for. March Madness. I know you're excited. I'm excited. I've been running this tournament for 2 years. 2 years. We did it last year. We did it the year before. This is going to be year number 3. So it is an annual tournament. You guys really seem to love it. This is the most clout I've ever had though, so this is gonna be the hardest tournament for me to run. Last year I barely got 64 people. Like, we had maybe 70 or 80 people interested to join the PS4 one. I was short on Xbox. I couldn't start an Xbox tournament. It was really hard. I think the first year we only ran like 32 people, maybe a little more. I can't remember fully, but I know last year we did 64 for sure. This year I'm gonna do my best to get as many people in this tournament as possible. A lot of you guys are new. None of you guys really know how this tournament works, so I'm gonna start off from the beginning, explain it from start to finish. It's gonna be really quick. It's a quick rundown. I'm gonna show you guys some examples, how you guys are gonna pick your teams, all that good stuff, what the prize is for the winner. I want to do an Xbox one this year. I want this year to be the first year we ever run an Xbox tournament. I want the PS4 tournament to have as many people as possible. I know for sure I can't have like 500 people, 700 people in this tournament. I know that's going to be hard. I do believe though that I can have more than 64. I want to make sure I can cater for as many people as possible. If I'm only able to have 128 of you guys, I'm sorry for everyone that can't get in. If I'm able to get 200 of you guys, 256, you know, I'm trying to keep it as even as possible. You want everyone to play the same amount of games, all that good stuff. I don't want people playing a million games, but I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be interesting. There's a couple really cool factors we added last year that kept this really juicy and entertaining. So let's just start off from the basics. What's March Madness? So if you guys don't watch college basketball during this time of year, in about 2 weeks or so, a week and a half, they're gonna start the biggest tournament. There's gonna be 64 schools entering to win a big tournament, big bracket, a lot of money on the line. These kids, I almost dropped something. These kids don't get paid. People bet on them anyway. People make money if they get the bracket right. So basically what we're gonna have is this big bracket for you guys to be playing in. You guys are gonna get to pick a school. Now, how you guys get this school is gonna be based on a couple of things. Since there's no real fair way to do this, last year it was completely random. I gave you guys random teams, random choices of teams you got to pick from. This year, since I do expect a lot of people wanting to be in, I'm doing this way different. I'm gonna keep talking about that in a second, but it's gonna be different. Now let's talk about the restrictions real quick on how this teams works. So basically, if you pick a school, you cannot pick players from other schools to play for your team. If a guy played for a different college, you cannot use them except on one condition. So let's look into that right now. So there's a couple people I want to shout out in this video real quick, but yeah, let's get into this. So thank you to Yak for this graphic right here. We have our March Madness 20 rules restrictions type thing. You are allowed 1 pink diamond or 1 diamond that went to your school. You cannot use 3 pink diamonds that went to that school. You cannot use 5 pink diamonds that went to the school. You're only allowed 1 pink diamond or a diamond. That is if you want a superstar player that went to that school. All right, that's if you want to make your team top heavy with 1 star player only. That Anthony Davis, that Grant Hill, whoever that guy is that you want to dump that ball to and only have that one dude take over your school, you are allowed to do that. Or you have a chance to have an amethyst player and a sapphire. You can have 1 Ami, 1 sapphire, give you a little bit more depth, make your team a little better. 2 good players, why not do that? Or make sure you guys are reading this. It says or. There's ors. Make sure it's or. You cannot have a pink diamond then go, oh, I'm allowed an amethyst and a sapphire. And the reason this is done is because there's not that many great colleges. There's probably only like 8 or 10 stacked colleges. Every other college doesn't have superstars like this. So this is how we're gonna keep it even for everyone. Anyone can win this tournament. You can pick the worst school in the world and win this tournament if you are good at 2K. I believe in you in every way, shape, or form. So now your other ors are 2 rubies. You can have a little more depth instead of using a sapphire. If you want 2 rubies on your team, you can go ahead as long as they went to that school. You also have the option of 3 sapphires. That's where you're adding the most depth. You're adding guys, 3 of them are sapphire guys. Imagine 3 sapphires in your team compared to a guy that has 1 diamond. There's a big difference. You kind of have a certain advantage. Now everyone else that went to that school, if you can find a bunch of emeralds that went to that school or gold players, you can use them. You can use as many gold players or emeralds that went to that school as possible. So now that's where big schools have the advantage. They have a lot of golds and emeralds and stuff like that on their team. Now anyone that did not go to that school, if you can't fill out a roster, there's going to be colleges that only have 1 or 2 guys that went to that school, and you might want to pick them anyway. Now you're going to be able to fill out the rest of your lineup with silvers and bronzes. So what does this really really mean, I want to show you guys real quick. I'm going to show you guys a couple of examples of a team or two on how this is going to work so you guys have an idea. So now this is where I'm going to shout out Ryan. Ryan gave me a little head start on this. I wasn't home. I just got home. So here you have an example where you're able to pick Anthony Davis as your superstar. You just want a pink diamond off the bat to carry the rest of your team. Every other emerald and gold went to that school, and then the silvers and stuff like that, they can be from any school. I'm gonna show you guys a couple ways how you can check everyone that went to that school. But you see there, he has that one good player. The rest of the team is not that good. There's just a bunch of emeralds that went to that school. Here is example number 2. If he did not want to have that one superstar, he can downgrade his team a little bit. He can use that one Amy. He can use a Karl Anthony Towns, for example, and then use Sapphire Devin Booker. Now I'm glad he showed me this, because a lot of people, I took a poll on Twitter, people said they do want position lock. They want to make it as fair as possible for small schools. They want it to be fun, in which you can use guys in their actual position you normally would not. So here Devin Booker would not be able to play the 1 unless on 2KMT Central it says otherwise. It could say it in the game, or it could say it on 2KMT Central. If you prove to me that that card, it has to be that card exactly, it can't be a different card. If that card says point guard, shooting guard, like right here it says Devin Booker can't play the 1, you can run Devin Booker at the 1 if you feel like it. That is perfectly fine if it says it here. Other than that, and you want to run Devin Booker at the 3, you cannot run Devin Booker at the 3, even though it gives you a disadvantage. I don't care if it's an advantage or disadvantage. If it's not his primary or secondary position listed, it's not happening. Now we go to a third example where he decides, oh, let me use 2 rubies. Now the rubies he could use would be like a John Wall, a Karl Anthony Towns, that's fine, and then the rest of the team emeralds, no problemo. He's basically getting the option to upgrade a Devin Booker from a Sapphire to a Ruby. He has to downgrade his other guy from a Amy to a Ruby, and that's perfectly fine. Now he also has the option to use 3 Sapphires. He has the option to do that without a doubt. Now a lot of people may say, oh, this is a lot of rules, it's a lot of restrictions. Well, it's only to keep it fair for the other schools, and it gets better as it goes along. So this is for the first round. When you get into the second round, it's going to get a lot better. You're going to get more advancements. You're going to basically be able to upgrade your guys depending on how many people we get in the tournament. If there is a lot and there's a lot of rounds, I'm going to make it so you only get to upgrade 1 tier upgrade. But if it's fair, we're going to keep it 2. I did polls on almost everything. I forgot to do this one poll because we added a steal system last year, which is amazing. I think the steal system is incredible. I think it's the only reason it keeps this fair for everyone. So what a steal basically is, say right now Kentucky is very stacked, you're playing against Kentucky, you are Davidson. Let's create this Davidson team so I can show you guys what we're talking about. Now you guys have 2 options to basically make this team. Number 1 you could do is, say for example you want to use Anthony Davis. You know off the bat that that's the guy you want to use. You want to use Kentucky. If I go to 2KMT Central, shout out to 2KMT Central, the link is down below, and you see it says here where he's from. This is the college he went to. We are only allowing colleges. I gave people the option if you wanted high schools or international schools to be allowed. They said no, just keep it colleges. So right now I'd click Kentucky. It will give me a list of every player that went to that school. So this is great. You'd be able to see who you can use. I can look through the Amis if I want to do an Ami, if I want to do a diamond. I have literally a lot of different options. Now your other option is this site. This site gives you a whole list. It's a little different. You don't see the cards, you don't see the tiers and stuff, but it's called Real GM. You'd be able to look for any school you want to. It'll give you a list of everyone that's in the league now, and then if you scroll down you can see every single player that went to that school. So these are both great options for you to be able to look at what school you may want, or when you get a school, which players you're going to want to use. Now let's go back to 2KMT Central. Say my best player is Steph Curry. This is the best card on my team. This is the only card I'm good with. I love Steph Curry. I'm a huge fan. I'm gonna click on Davidson, see who else went there, and I'm gonna see that only Steph Curry went to Davidson. Now what happens if only Steph Curry went to Davidson? I could use Steph Curry and have nobody else on my team. I told you guys, you can have a bunch of silvers, you can have a bunch of bronzes. Whoever used Davidson last year actually won their first game. So let me show you guys what would happen if hypothetically I wanted to use this team. Now my favorite thing about 2KMT Central is when you go up here, you could go to create lineup on the lineups thing and you can make your lineup. So right here I would be able to fill in, I'm gonna put Steph Curry. This is the card I love. Now basically I have to fill in the rest of my team with a bunch of silvers and bronzes. So I'd have to look up guys that basically play that aren't that good, right? I'd have to use a guy like this, for example. I'd have to start filling in this team. That's perfectly fine. You fill it in with guys you're comfortable with. Now here you go. I found the gold player. I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna put him on my team. I'm only using a diamond, man. It's okay. I'm using a gold. He's not that good. He's not an emerald or anything. And you're gonna say, oh, but at the end of the day, you can do that. I'm not letting that be a thing. thing, because other teams that are already stacked, if they add more golds, it's not going to be cool. So make sure you start filling in your bronzes, your silvers, stuff like that. This is supposed to be as fair as possible. So now let's just say the guy who's using Steph Curry is like amazing at this game. He's amazing with Steph Curry. He catches fire. He's unstoppable. He's able to defend with everybody else he's using. He's playing against Kentucky and destroys him. Now the options he's gonna have after this game is to be able to steal a player from the other team that he beat. So now let's just say he beat this team right here, this John Wall, Karl Anthony Towns team that's being run. Now what he's gonna be able to do is steal a player from that school. Who he wants to steal is up to him. He's gonna be allowed 2 upgrades as well. I think we should keep it as 2. 1 might be too little. I think 2 is pretty cool, so let's do that. So if he takes Karl Anthony Towns as a Ruby, he cannot upgrade his Steph Curry right now. Let's say for example he wants to take Karl Anthony Towns. We're gonna go here, Karl Anthony Towns. He can use 1 upgrade on him, go straight to the Ami one, use a second one, and use his diamond Karl Anthony Towns. His team just went from just having Steph to having Steph and Cat. Now he's already stacked in the second round. Still has the silvers and bronzes, but now the tournament's juicy. Now the third round's gonna be insane. He might go up against a team that has a bunch of good players just like Kentucky did, but he has a chance. He has a fighting chance. Say he doesn't want a big man. Say he doesn't like Karl Anthony Towns. He could go look at that team again. He sees that he was using DeMarcus Cousins, the Emerald. He can take that DeMarcus Cousins if he wishes. He's got to look at that person that he was playing against, but you can't go, oh, he was using Emerald DeMarcus, I'm just going to steal the Ruby one. I'm just going to steal the Ami one. You cannot do that. You got to steal the same one you played against. Now he can steal the Emerald one, use both his upgrades. So from Emerald, you'd go to Sapphire. From Sapphire, you'd go to Ruby. So he can use the Ruby DeMarcus if he'd rather use that than the Karl Anthony Towns. That's perfectly up to the person that wins. This is your team. This is March Madness. This is how it's going to get crazy, juicy, all that good stuff. I hope I explained that pretty well. Remember, there's a lot of colleges, there's a lot of room for examples. You can use like BYU and just use Jimmer, or you can have a team that has Duke and has a lot of guys. Now what I want you guys to go ahead and do is comment 3 different things down below. One, I want you guys to comment from like 3 to 5 schools that you want in order. Pick the school you want first. Like say I want Duke first, I'm gonna put Duke. I'm gonna write Kentucky second, Kansas third. Put whatever schools you want. Give me a couple people. If you're not picking schools that other people are picking, you have a way higher chance. Think about it. If you're picking small schools, that's probably the team you're gonna get. If you want like a Davidson, if you want a Syracuse, if you want Florida, stuff like that, I'm sure not a lot of people are gonna be commenting those schools. So go ahead and tell me Oklahoma, tell me Ohio State, tell me other teams. If you're telling me the same schools, there's a chance you're not gonna get them, and I'm sorry about that. That's why I want you guys to put a couple choices. Make sure your first choice is first. Also tell me in the same comment if you are on Xbox or PS4. I want to know, so when I'm putting you in the tournament, I want to know what system you play on, Xbox or PS4. And last but not least, if you follow me on Twitch, tell me your Twitch name. I want to know, because if you've been subscribed to me a long time on Twitch, or you're always on my Twitch, or you're all this and that, you're gonna have kind of a priority when we're picking the teams, who's gonna get what team. So say you're an 8-month subscriber or a 10-month subscriber, or you've been really showing me love on my YouTube videos, that's perfectly fine. I know not everybody watches me on Twitch, but if I see your name all the time on YouTube, that's perfectly cool. So just make sure you tell me if you have a Twitch. If you do not, just tell me I don't have a Twitch, or make one. Follow us there. I stream every single day. I'm gonna be streaming right after this if you guys have any questions. But basically, remember, this is real. This tournament's gonna be fun. I'm gonna show you guys the prize in a second. I'm very excited. This is the best prize I think we've ever had. Last year we gave MT to the winner. The year before I did VC, and this year we will be giving out our first ever jersey. This is the jersey you guys have the chance to win. Whoever wins, if they would prefer like VC or a jersey of another player who's in the NBA now, I can probably do that for you. We're going to talk about that more if you guys win, but I think this would be the right jersey for this type of tournament. March Madness. How does it get much better than this? Michael Jordan, North Carolina jersey. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys are commenting all that. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I did a lot of polls on Twitter, you guys saw. That's why we have no Galaxy open. Opals. We have no Galaxy Opals. Make sure you follow me on Twitter if you don't already do so. You can tweet at me your teams or examples, or be like, oh, can I use this? Can I do this? There'll be no real gameplay restrictions. Like, you guys can pretty much do like kind of a freelance kind of play as you feel. But if you guys stream the games or upload them on YouTube, I will be sure to check them out. If you feel like anyone's cheating in any way, shape, or form, bring that to my attention right away. We will be talking more about this. I expect this tournament to officially start the day March Madness starts in real life. The thing is, if we do take a lot of names, a lot of people are in it, I might start like a trial period where people are getting kicked out, so we can only have 64 for the real tournament. And basically we'll pick like 4 guys for Duke, 6 guys with Duke, 8 guys with Duke. They all battle out and 1 guy with Duke makes it. Same thing with Kentucky, same with guys that want the same school. So make sure you just comment what school you want down below. You never know, you might get it, you might not. Keep that in mind. You're not guaranteed a spot. I'm doing my best. It's a 1-person run tournament. I'm really doing my best. I want to do this for you guys. 3rd year in a row for YouTube, 1st year for Xbox. Hopefully I have my fingers crossed that this goes smoothly. I'm expecting you guys to comment, like this video if you guys are excited for this tournament. I know I am. Make sure you follow me on Twitter if you have any questions. And yeah, guys, that'll be all. It's been your boy Most Ballin'. You already know the drill. That was so, I don't know, I was a little extra. I'll see you guys later. Ballin' out.